All right, this is a lesson by request. This is I'm a King Bee by Frank Marino. So this is from a live version. I'm gonna basically just get into like the main riffs of the song and kind of show you how it's a 12-bar blues in A and some of the different riffs that he does. I'm not gonna go in depth into his soloing. It's super fast and it's super complicated and crazy. But there's definitely some exercises you can practice, and I can show you the scales he's using and kind of the notes he's using a lot. So let's take a look at this main riff we got. Okay, so that's our first riff. We got A, kind of a swing beat. And we're gonna do a little trill here with this 3 and 4 of the A string. And then we have the octave of the A, 2nd fret of the G string. And then we're gonna do the open G there a couple times. And then we're gonna have we got those 2 little 5s, and we're gonna make a chord out of that. So it's up to you which finger you want to use. You could also do that up here on this 9 on the G string and 10 on the B string to get more of a sliding down effect. Okay, so that happens like 4 times. And then we're gonna get into this kind of a variation of that. So it just does the 4 and the 2 and the D string in that same swing feel after the rest of that riff. You can kind of slide into that 4 if you want. Okay, so it does that like 4 times, and then he might kind of break back into the. At that point, you can kind of combine those 2 things. So it gets into the verse, and it's going to have. Now we're going to go to this D7-9 chord. So we got the 5 on the 5th string with our middle finger, and then we got a 4, and then we got 5-5-5. So this is that funk kind of James Brown chord. Got to get that ring finger down on all 3 of these down here on the 5s. So we're going to have. So you can kind of slide up 2 frets with most of that. Usually you kind of use the top part, that ring finger part. So we got. There we go to D. Back to A. Low E string, we're going to go to the E chord up here. This is the E7-9, so 2 frets above where we were over here. So bass note on the 7, that's 6, 7, 7, 7. So we got. You can do that one little chromatic in between to get down to the D. We're back to the A. And you got another verse. A couple of these. Should have been like that, you know, the jang jang on those 5s. That should be at the beginning of the one, and the other thing's an answer. So let me get into the. E, D, and then we have. So it's a cool riff there. We got 3 times on the A string, and then the A octave here, 7th fret of the D, and then we go. So 7, 5, and 7 on the 5th. So these are triplets. And then 6, 7, a little bend on the 7 on the G string. And that was a 7 to the 5. So 7, 7, 5 on the D, and then 6 to 7. Use your middle finger. And we can get the top of that kind of Hendrix chord, that raised 9 chord. So you end up with a 7 on the 5th string, and then a 7 on the G string, and an 8 on the B string. So we got. get into this thing here, this 7 chord thing. So we have 9 on the G, then 8, and then 9. We're gonna go triplets. And then down 1 fret. And then he kind of bends this, kind of like a unison thing. He's bending this 10th fret of the G string, and it can kind of have that 8th fret of the 2nd string with it. And so we are in A minor pentatonic, basically. And the chords are like A7, D7, 9, E7, 9. So he kind of... So he's bending basically that note that is in the scale. So let's look at this A minor pentatonic scale. Now, Frank Marino also uses, like he'll use these other notes, the 7. So you got 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. He'll also do this hammer on. So he'll use that major third. That's that 6th fret on the G string. So going from 5 to 6 creates a cool bluesy effect. It adds a little bit of major scale into your kind of pentatonic soloing. You also want to try to get your ring finger to do this 8th fret bend. So it takes a little stretching. And you'll use this finger a lot of times if you're doing that up here. So that you have different fingers on different frets. Okay, so one of the cool riffs he also does when he gets to the progressions ending, and he's in his solo, he'll end with this. Okay, so I thought that was a cool one. So it's like 7 on the D string. That's that little hammer on we're talking about. 5 to 6 real quick. Then 7 to 8 to 9. And then the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Just a little bend a couple of times. Back to that 9 on the G string. So don't forget about your octave position up here on the 17th fret. So one other thing that's cool is when you get in your progression, you do that quick to the 4 chord. We got the A7 a couple times. We got our D7. Now they're going to go into the Stormy Monday progression. Okay, so it was A7 to B minor 7, 7, 9, and all 7s. You could also do it like this. It's kind of the jazz way, muting the A string, all 7s. Up to the 9s, C sharp, minor 7, to C7, 8th fret. Back to the 7th fret, the B minor 7. And this is like a D minor 7 type of chord. We got 7, 7, 6, and 8. And then you're to your 1, to your 4, to your 1, to your 5. And that 1, 4, 1, 5 is where he would go. Okay, and the tune kind of ends like that. So let's say you guys are gonna do a little soloing using some of these notes I talked about. And that's that flat 5th. There's that flat 5th again. Okay, so I'll play the progression, you guys jam out. 3, 4. Stormy Monday chords. Keep soloing. by request, I'm a King B, Frank Marino. Thanks for requesting that. I really enjoyed listening to it. I'll try to figure out some of his leads over time, but like I say, they are real fast and real cool bluesy. Enjoy, y'all. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.